Ladies and gents, welcome back. It's almost there. We're almost finished. It's almost the end of June, the end of Pride Month, and already some corporations are walking back their stance on Pride before the end of the month has finished. But this isn't stopping paraders from going from offensive to outright threatening in some cases. Now, this has been getting the rounds on the internet, going viral, this one clip. We have here from Billboard Chris showing paraders, and I can't show this clip here. I have an edited version, and just give a minute here, I'll show you it. But there's chanting, "We're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children." Yeah, we know, it says Billboard Chris in this tweet he put out. Now, I did an edited version to get rid of, to blur out some of the skin flaps that I just don't want to put on YouTube here, but this is the scene on the streets here. So very clearly, they're coming for your children is being said here. Now, this is a variation on a chant. I had to learn this from the community notes that this is actually a variation of a chant that's often commonly used at these pride parades. We're here, we're queer, and we're not going shopping. And that has something to do with back in the 1990s with the AIDS crisis. I didn't look that much further into it. It's just the slogan was that, and it's morphed into "We're coming for your children." Now, where was this first seen before? Well, this came actually from a clip from the San Francisco Gay Men's Choir, where they wrote a song about, well, coming for your children.
We'll convert your children. Happens bit by bit, quietly and subtly, and you will barely notice it. You can keep them from disco. So
anyway, the song goes on to talk about trying to introduce children to their message in this case, saying that they're going to eliminate hate by doing this, but in the most threatening way possible, telling people that you're just going to go for your children. I don't know how you can spell that out any further. Obviously, not the Bee. This is the actual news version of the Babylon Bee, which is a satirical website. Has an article about this. I'll leave a link in the description down below so you can go check out the story on the "We're Coming for Your Children" song. But for the sake of moving on, we're moving on. Elon Musk even putting this video out there for people to see. "We're here, we're queer, we're coming for your children. These people should be thrown in prison," says Elon Musk on his very own platform, Twitter. A lot of people in violent agreement with him on this one. Now, there has been moves, there has been pushes to, thwart this, to stop this. And one here, such case in Canada, in New Brunswick, where they've passed legislation to say that children cannot be, without their parental consent, be allowed to switch their gender in schools, as some teachers have been trying to mask this from the parents of students and actually hide it after convincing them that they should be some other gender and express themselves in this way. This needs to be shared again and again, says this tweet. Thank you to New Brunswick Cabinet Minister of Public Safety, Kris Austin, for voicing concerns of parents across all Canada. And he talks about consent here. And this is very interesting at how much consent needs to be given for every student until they're legally adults themselves. But they want to go forward and hide this stuff from parents out there.
Had to sign on that registration, another registration form, the name of my son. I had to put the sex, male, female, other. I had to fill in some personal information about my children. And everything I put on that registration form, at the bottom of it, I had to sign. And that signature meant that I, as a parent, am giving parental authority for my child to be registered with the school. But, Mr. Speaker, doesn't stop there. I also have to give a written consent signature for my child to have their photo taken in school. I have to give my written consent as a father for my child to be administered a Tylenol should they have a headache. I'll tell you how intricate this is with parental authority. My 17-year-old, he's going to turn 18. He's going to be a legal adult next week. He's been accepted to a university here in Fredericton. I'm very proud of him. And he was going on a school trip to this university that he's already been accepted to. He's 17 years old. And I remember the frantic call I got. Can't remember if it was my wife or if it was my son, but he said, "We forgot the consent form." He's 17. He could not go to that university on a field trip unless I signed the form to allow him to go as a parent. And yet, my daughter in grade 2 can change her name and her gender, not just without my consent, but most importantly, without me even knowing it, to the point that the school would literally deceive me as a parent should I ask to know what's going on.
That's just criminal, in my opinion, on this case. But yeah, this is how far consent goes and how far they're trying to go to push this agenda. Now, parents are not having this, and here we have an outbreak of Muslim protesters at the Prime Minister's office chanting, "Leave our kids alone and that flag must go."
Prime Minister's office. Holy jumping.
And these scenes are popping up everywhere. Here's another one at the Hill in Ottawa. Now, the woke types don't know what to do with this one because, well, these are Muslims. These are religious minorities that are actually coming out against this thing, and it shouldn't be any surprise because I haven't seen any teachings from Islam that have been pro-LGBT in any way, but these are people saying, "Leave our children alone. We don't want this type of indoctrination." Now, the Toronto Star making sure to have their opinion article saying, well, you shouldn't have a right to refuse this type of thing when school boards permit opting out of human rights education such as drag story time. I don't even know how to even read that without outbursting in laughter. Since when is drag story time a human right? It sends a message that these rights are debatable. Well, it's not a right. So yeah, it is debatable. But this is obviously the Toronto Star publishing something like this. But some corporations are even walking this back. The NHL has announced that it's banning pride jerseys from its games. But not only that, they're going to be basically getting rid of any sort of these movements. So the National Hockey League, NHL, announced that it will be banning pride jerseys and other special cause-based uniforms from its rinks. And this is a good move in the right direction, but it's not without the criticism from, you guessed it, the mainstream media losing their minds over this, because they want to be able to shove this stuff down your throat.
First off, I know everyone's angry at Gary Bettman, and to a certain extent, so am I. He is a shield for ownership, and there are some owners in that league that didn't want to do it anymore. Period. We don't know which ones. That's for Gary to stop us from knowing. But I guarantee you, there were owners in that Board of Governors room who were like, I don't want to have this controversy anymore. But to go the extra length and knock out all the other days as well is honestly, it's cowardly. There's no other word to say it. It is cowardly, and this league, if it weren't for Canadian broadcasters, this league would have been broke 30 years ago. Because that's the only reason this league makes any revenue. This league doesn't make revenue because of decision makers. This league doesn't make revenue because of TV ratings in the States. This league doesn't make revenue because of any progressive thought whatsoever. This league makes money because Rogers gave it $5 million or $5 billion. That's why this league makes money. That stuff is prevalent in the National Hockey League. That's how they think. That's how they roll. It's a small organization run by small people. And to do this in Pride Month is absolutely stunning. But part of me is actually glad because this league doesn't deserve to say hockey is for everyone. This league doesn't deserve to go down that road. And if I were them, I'd pull out of Pride Nights completely because this league's not ready for this. Homophobia and transphobia are running rampant in that league. It's pretty obvious. This league's not ready for that. So I'd say back up even further. No Pride Nights. Toronto Blue Jays know how to get it done. When there's an issue, they deal with it.
Toronto Blue Jays knows how to get it done. When there's an issue, they deal with it, he says. This is what he's referring to. Toronto Blue Jays sent Anthony Bass packing, a pitcher that they had, a star pitcher for their franchise. They sent him packing over a controversy. Now, what was the controversy? Well, he told his followers on social media, encouraged them to boycott Bud Light over the controversy that was happening there.
Bass has been criticized after he shared an Instagram story recently that encouraged his followers to boycott retailer Target and Bud Light because those companies support the LGBTQ community. Yes.
Well, clearly that's not why, but that's the spin, right? That's absolutely the spin. People were sick of this stuff being shoved down their throats. So they said, we're boycotting this. He was in support of that boycott. Now, they made him do the public apology tour, but it was too late, and they decided to fire him nonetheless. Now, I don't know how many fans of Bud Light and whatnot were going to the Toronto Blue Jays shows, but it looks like they won't be having their star pitcher any longer because of this controversy. But hey, let me know what you think about all of this stuff, the whole kit and caboodle of this. It's almost over. We've all almost survived it. But there has been calls even to extend Pride Month into July. And well, we all see what kind of warm welcome they'll be getting on Canada Day. Of course, the one day in Canada that this year, many towns are saying that they're not celebrating. But that's for another story. Anyway, leave a comment in the comment section down below. Let me know what you think, and we'll see you in the next one. Keep on trucking.